Hi there. For those of you still struggling with the 5.02 ASCII encode decode program, I want to go through that and show you that the lesson gives us almost the whole thing. So let's do this together, starting with the pseudocode. So the first thing in our pseudocode, of course, is name. I don't need it all capitalized. Name, date, purpose. And then, of course, define main function. Now let's look and see what our program says. Write a program to encode and decode a message. So we get to think of a secret message we want to encode. We use the ORD and the CHR functions to encode and decode. So we encode it into ASCII. This is the ASCII code program. And then we decode it back. So here's some optional stuff. I'm not going to mess with the optional stuff, but yeah, that's some other things you do. Have the user guess, or also put it in binary, or add 2 to our ASCII code, which is the whole thing. But that's just optional stuff. I'm just doing the basic program. Print the encoded and decoded messages. Okay, this is pretty simple then. Create message. Encode into ASCII, print encoded message, decode from ASCII, print decoded message. That's pretty much it. Those 5 lines. Of course, these are all that every program, but so just these 5 things: create a message, encode it and print it, decode it and print it. So we're ready to go to a programming window. All right, here's our idle window. Of course, we always start with name, date, purpose, and define main function. So let's get into it now. Create message would be the next thing on our list. So let's create a message. Let's just call it message equals, and we just have to put it in quotes, whatever our message is. So let's just make up a message. It can be whatever, song lyrics, some quote, something someone famous said, something you said, whatever you like. I'm going to put uh, remember you are unique, just like everyone else. Okay. We've created a message. Now we need to encode it into ASCII. Now this is where it's really nice. We can go to our lesson. I'm going to go to our Buzz lesson here. This is the 5.02 decoding ASCII lesson. And if I go to page 5 and I go down to the Python guided activity, this is showing us how to do the ORD and CH. Now this is, I don't want to do it that way. That's one line at a time. I want to go to slide 4, 3 and 4 actually. 3 converts a message from ASCII into something we can read, which is part of our program. But first we need slide 4 of 4. Slide 4 actually takes a message like we have, and it converts it into ASCII. So I'm just going to take these 3 lines right here, just code message and the loop, the first loop. And I'm going to go back to my program and I'm going to paste those right there. Oh, I need to fix the indentation after I did that. So what it's done is it's created an empty list called code message. And then it says 4M in message. And since that's what I called it message. This needs to match whatever your message is named. If it's called quote or something different, you'll need to change that. But this will go through each character one by one for M, and it calls it M. It'll start with the R, and it will convert it to ASCII with the ORD command, and append means add it to the list. So it will add it to code message, which is empty to start with. So as it goes through each character one by one, it'll convert it to ASCII and add it to our list. So all we need to do after that is let's print it. Well, I'm going to put print encoded message. I'll just put that so we understand what is on the screen. And then I'm going to print code message. Okay, we can test that if I put a main statement down here at the bottom. Let's run that. There it is, encoded message. And there is, remember you're unique just like everyone else, in ASCII. We are halfway done already. Halfway done. Let's go back to here. And if we go back to slide 3, this has a message, right? And it creates a blank new message. And it goes through this message one by one and converts it back with this CHR, converts it back just into letters from the ASCII. And then it prints it. So let's copy. I'm going to go ahead and copy all this. Everything between the define main and main, all 5 lines. And I'm going to take those back to my code right here. So I'll go down here in this next line, line underneath the print code message, paste. Again, I got to fix the indentation. All right, let me put a space there. So let's look at what I have here. I'm going to take out the space in between there just to kind of bring this up a bit. Now I have, this is what I copied from the program in the lesson. New message. It goes through there, converts it all back, and then it prints the new message. I do want to print before that. I'll put it right here. Print decoded message. Guess I'll capitalize that D. So let's run this. Encoded message, all this, and then decoded message, the saves combos 9524. That's what this ASCII code is right here. But that's not the ASCII code that I want to decode, right? I need to decode what I've got right here. So I'm going to delete line 15. I just put it there to show you that was what the lesson had. So let's delete that. Okay, so it's gone. Right now, this is looking for the code I just deleted. Where is my ASCII code that I want it to convert? Remember, I saved it right here. I had this empty list and I filled it up with all the ASCII. So all my ASCII is saved right here in code message. So if I go down here and say, don't look at message, look at code message. For M in code message, go through and put extra space just so you can separate that. This new message, which is empty, a blank message, go through and convert it character by character and put it back into words. Save it here and then print that. So basically, most all of this code was written in our lesson. We borrowed it, brought it here, put it together. And the only thing we had to change was the fact that we want to decode our code message ASCII, not the message that they had in the lesson. So let's clear this, run this now that we've fixed this one loop. Encoded message, decoded message. Remember, you're unique just like everyone else. Perfect. Here, we'll put a blank line in between those, just empty print statement, just so when it prints, it just kind of separates. So it looks a little cleaner. You know, it's not required, not necessary, but it's good programming code just to make it nice and easy to read for the user. And that's all it takes for that program. Most of it's given in the lesson. We just got to figure out how to put it together and have it actually look at our other ASCII. Some folks have been just printing the message that you originally typed. It's like, that's not decoding anything. You have to encode it into ASCII and then use that ASCII to decode it and print the original message. So, all right, get that turned in if you're missing it. We'll see you in class.